Yeah, I mean, it's a different market, I would say, just in a short answer, than it was when we did this film. Now animated films are voiced out of the agent's office, more or less. But it's a different thing, which I won't get into all that. But it's a little harder to get those kind of things like this now.
Yeah, generally speaking, if you look at most of the animated features that are out now, they all have movie stars, big movie stars, playing the lead roles. So it's harder for people like Ken and me to get cast.
But you guys have been in lots of both films and TV shows a lot too, so things have come from it. Maybe not voice acting, but that. So very nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I just wanted to say thank you for being here. It's a great honor to meet both of you. I was curious, what was the process like with working with Tim Burton during the film?
We get this question asked a lot, and we have to make sure that people are disabused of the notion that Tim directed the movie. He did not direct the movie. Henry Selick directed the movie.
He was doing Batman.
Who also directed James and the Giant Peach, Coraline, very talented animator in his own right. Tim came up with the story and also the visualization of all the characters. And in fact, I'm not sure if the book came out earlier, I don't know. But Tim didn't direct it. I had the good fortune of, at the end of the filming, going into the what's called the ADR studio, the time when you go in and you can do improvements, and working with Tim for a couple of days, but that was it.
Yeah, and I never actually met him in the process of the work. I met him after. Again, I was familiar and shown the book and his original ideas. And if I'm not mistaken, Oogie isn't actually in the first book, oddly enough. Somewhere along the line he came in, but no, so I didn't get to work with him till after. I tell people I did, though, just because it sounds cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jack Skellington shows up in a lot of the director's films as well. After that, it's pretty funny. He does cool stuff with it.
Hi. One of my favorite characters in Nightmare is the mayor, who was voiced by the late, great Glenn Shaddix. I was wondering what it was like working with him and what he was like as a person.
Most of us didn't work with anyone. We worked separately at any rate. I'm sure Chris will tell you more about that. I did meet him on one occasion, and he seemed like a very lovely man. I didn't work with him, and I didn't know him personally. But
if I remember correctly, I don't think you had any scenes with him either. Your
that's
character,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
But generally speaking, I only worked by myself. I met Glenn a couple of times. I saw him, in New York socially. Lovely guy, really lovely guy, and a very unique voice. But the only character in the movie that I worked with was one day I worked with Catherine O'Hara on the Jack and Sally scenes. Other than that, I was always by myself in the studio with Henry Selick.
Thank you.
Hello. So I was wondering, Nightmare Before Christmas has been out for over 20 years now. What is it about, and Ken kind of answered this a little bit, but what do you think it is about the movie that makes people still buy merch and watch it every Christmas and Halloween to this day, even though most movies would have already been forgotten by now?
Well, I don't know what I would say it is. I think there are movies like The Wizard of Oz, Wonderful Life, in terms of holiday films, Miracle on 34th Street. I think they tap into something that ignites the imagination in specifics to the holidays, obviously. Nightmare Before Christmas, I think, is so unique because it starts at Halloween and goes all the way through Christmas. I think we have that all to ourselves. I don't think there's another story like that. But I think, as far as a short answer for me, that's what I think it is. I think something about it tapped into the idea of someone wanting to understand Christmas. And I think everybody goes through that, at least as a child, wanting to understand how and what is Santa Claus and where does he come from and how does he get down that chimney, all those kind of things. And I think it taps into that, and new generations continually discover it.
And just to add to what Ken says, because I think Ken has covered it actually quite extensively, that, excuse me, there's something about the loneliness of Jack and the fact that he feels so alienated and so isolated that we all identify with in one way or another. And I think particularly young people who are going through tough times, you know, God knows, junior high school, middle school, and high school are the bane of many of our existences. I can't think of, I mean, anybody here who didn't have a hard time in high school or junior high? In one way or another. You know, we may have enjoyed ourselves and been quote-unquote popular or quote-unquote unpopular, but it was a hard time. You know, you're going through so many different things, both hormonally and developmentally, that I think it's easy to identify with Jack and this journey that he takes in the movie.
You guys have been so important to me, so thank you so much for answering that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a question. Who has a tradition of watching the movie like around Christmas time? Yeah, like that.
How great. That's great.
Well, I watch it almost all the time just because
Your mustache is better than mine.
You're not
I just watch it just because it's fun and I like watching it.
not holiday specific
No,
at all.
I just watch it all the time just because. And plus it's on Netflix all the time too.